Welcome to our animation on unconscious bias testing. We can assess the strength of our biases, which are in fact the strength of our own neural connections between stereotypes and groups of people, using a commercial version of an implicit association test, IAT. The original IAT was developed at Harvard University in 1998 and is now seen as the metric of choice in research around our social biases. Tests exist to measure a wide range of group preferences, biases, including age, body weight, disability, ethnicity, gender, and sexual orientation. The IAT randomly presents words and pictures on a computer screen and asks you to sort them using some very simple rules. For example, with a gender test, it asks you to sort any pictures of women into the right side of the screen and pictures of men to the left side of the screen. It then begins to mix words with the pictures. The words are either good words like talented, competent and intelligent, or bad words like useless, incompetent and stupid. The test asks you to sort the words and pictures according to a simple rule. For example, good words to the left with the men and bad words to the right with the women. After you've completed a number of these simple sorts, it changes the rules. It now wants you to sort the good words with the women and the bad words with the men. This is the opposite direction to how you previously sorted. The test simply compares the two halves of the test and looks for differences. Where do you slow down? Where do you speed up? And where do you make mistakes? If you have strong neural connections between particular groups and good or bad words, then some of the sorts will be easier and some will be harder. The test looks for these differences in sorting speed and style. In the case of the bias test you are taking, there is a predictive algorithm. This algorithm relates your test, the profile, to the likelihood that these super-fast neural connections will affect your behaviour towards the groups in the test, often without you being aware. The tests measure the direction and the strength of any biases you may have. When you get your personal details, they will arrive in a PDF file to the email address you have chosen. Some types of testing give you the option not to leave your name or email address. If you choose not to leave an email address, you won't be able to get the results. The PDF will tell you the strength and direction of any group preferences or biases you may have. You will notice that we use the word preferences or biases interchangeably. There may be a delay in sending results if you are testing prior to a workshop where the test is deliberately withholding results until after the workshop. There may also be a delay if the test detects unusual response patterns, in which case results are referred to a psychologist for validation before being released. The test feedback will describe your preferences, biases, using one of 4 labels. Low, meaning there is no bias preference or a weak preference bias unlikely to be affecting behaviour. On average, 70% of people get this result. Mid-range, meaning there is a moderately strong preference or bias likely to be affecting behaviour. On average, 25% of test takers get this result. Elevated, meaning there is a strong preference or bias likely to be affecting behaviour. On average, 5% of test takers get this result. High, meaning there is a very strong bias likely to be affecting behaviour. On average, 1% of test takers get this result. The feedback PDF tells you both the direction and strength of the bias, so you know where your preferences lie and how strong they might be. If you do get a moderate to high score on a test, don't panic. Almost everyone who takes more than 5 or 6 tests has one or more tests where they have one of these higher scores. It does not mean that you have been going out treating people badly. Often the behaviours are very subtle, listening less attentively, finding less in common, or being a little more socially distant. Often others detect these subtle effects unconsciously, making them feel a little less comfortable with us without really knowing why. At work, our preferences for some kinds of people can lead us tending to favour some people in areas such as work allocation, in the information we share, and in the people we work with or support. If after getting your test results you would like some ideas on mitigating these subtle effects of bias, you can watch our animation on the subject.